Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and in this video I'm going to share some information with you on a beautiful plant called Cryptolepis. Now Cryptolepis is something that just got on my radar about 12 or 13 years ago, and I was working with another herbalist. He was formulating something for Lyme disease, and so I started studying this and we started kind of researching together, and I helped him make a tincture with some other herbs in a blend and what it would do for Lyme disease and all the different co-infections. Before I go any further, the information that I share with you is not meant to be medical advice. This is just meant to entertain and educate you. So of course, when it comes to using herbal remedies and nature's medicine, there is a deep, rich history with the plants and the indigenous people where they grow. And we all know that there's generation after generation of plant wisdom that is passed down. And this is no different from this beautiful plant that was on my radar, like I said, about 12 or 13 years ago, called Cryptolepis. Now, this plant grows in Western and Central Africa in places like Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon. And it's a tropical forest herb, and also in the savanna regions is where it likes to grow. So it obviously likes moisture, it likes heat, and it likes soil that stays pretty wet, but also doesn't get too wet. It doesn't like to be boggy and soggy. But some of the traditional uses that the Africans have been using it for before it really spread around the world as much as it has there's some really cool traditional medical things that they've been using it for. And the number one thing that I found is it was used extensively and still is for malaria, just because of all of its antimicrobial properties. So it's also been used for digestive issues, sexual health, pain relief, and used as a powerful blood purifier, which is something that I love about a lot of these root medicines, is that they're a very good blood purifier. Now, as the time has gone on and people in the Western world have started embracing this herb, it's been used as a powerful antimicrobial. I love its antibacterial properties. I also love what it does for Lyme disease and the different co-infections that seem to come with Lyme. And also really great as an anti-inflammatory and good for your immune system. So I'm going to kind of go over this little group of benefits that it's been really well studied for over the past, I would say, decade, very much studied. And this is something that I got some Cryptolepis root. I put it into a tincture, and this was more than a decade ago. And I just started using it in my own family, playing around with it. That's what I do, especially when I learn about something new. I do as much research as I can. I get a really good source for it. And this is actually fairly difficult to source in a really good organic way, because this is you can cultivate it, but this is more of a wild-crafted herb. The part of the plant that you use is the root, Cryptolepis root. Now, there are several different species of Cryptolepis, but the one that is at the forefront and is used the most from my experience, and the only one I've ever used, is, let me see if I can pronounce this. So Cryptolepis sanguinolenta, and I might have totally mispronounced that, but Cryptolepis sanguinolenta, and I'll put the spelling of that below this video. So here's some of the health benefits that have been documented in the research that's been done. And of course, there always needs to be more research in our modern scientific world to solidify these properties so that masses more of human beings can start using them. Because if you think about it, when there's a rich history of plant medicine in indigenous peoples and all over the world, there's always been natural remedies that have been passed down. But some of these places where the generations of medicinal use of plants have been used, it's almost like you don't have to study what exactly makes them work. You just watch what makes them work. And then you use it in this preparation, and different things. And this wisdom gets passed down generation to generation. And it's not like you have to know exactly why it works for certain things. You just know that it does work. And I think that in our modern world, It's not only something we like to know, but in a way, it's a good thing to know. It's this alkaloid, it's this tannin, it's these different resins, whatever it might be in a plant that makes it work in certain dosages. I think because of the mass scale of humanity that's been so disconnected from plant medicine and the way that works on us, it's good to know the scientific behind why some of these things work. So I think it's a really good thing that plants like Cryptolepis have been coming to the forefront. And this is something, like I said, that I've been using for over a decade. It's now in a couple of our blends that we have. We have a blend called Crypto Blend, and then we have a beautiful new tincture that's been out for a year called Pivot 8. And it has 8 different herbs in it that are all antimicrobial, really powerful. But this is something that many people are starting to realize and be comfortable with because it is such a powerful plant that's gaining some recognition. So some of the health benefits of Cryptolepis that I've observed are these: antibacterial and antimalarial. That is something that honestly I would love to talk to my dad about, because when my dad was alive, I'd never heard of Cryptolepis. And I don't even know, he might have known about it, but he actually formulated a anti-malaria formula. We don't make it anymore, but it had lomatium, black walnut hulls, and it had lecithin. So it had those 3 things in it. And that was his anti-malarial blend. So I would have really loved to know his take on this if he'd learned about this and had been able to study it when he was alive. So antibacterial, antimalarial, very well known for that. Anti-inflammatory and immune support, antifungal and antiviral, also shows potential for candida. It supports blood sugar regulation, liver protection and detoxification, and wound healing and skin infections. So the different ways that you can use this are tincture form, which is my favorite. You can make it into a tea. You can dry it and powder it, put it into capsules. And you can also take the powdered Cryptolepis root and make it into a poultice, where you could make it into a paste and put it on a skin infection or a skin wound. And this is how it's been traditionally used in places where it grows, like Africa. Now, you can cultivate Cryptolepis, and it just takes the right environment. You need some place where you can either grow it in a hot house if you're in a dry or super cold environment where you have really cold seasons. Your Cryptolepis is not going to survive through typically your first season. Now, Cryptolepis is a plant that is viney, and it grows, if it grows in a forest, it will grow up the trees. And it's got these kind of waxy green flowers with leaves with little yellow flowers on them. And it will grow up through the trees and just latch onto them. Now, if it grows out in the open, which it sometimes does, it will grow along the ground. The vines will grow along the ground. And the part of the plant that is used is the root. And the cool thing about this, this is one of my favorite things about plants and the way that they look, especially when they're tinctured, because a lot of the properties come out and it might be either dark green, or it might be a really rich brown or amber. But with Cryptolepis, it's a bright, dark, rich yellow. And it's been used in places in Africa and other places where it grows for a dye. It will dye clothing. You can, I'm sure they've used it in different ceremonies for just the properties that it brings. So I would say that this is something to put your radar on and see what you think. Look into the different properties of plants that seem really unique that maybe you've never heard of. In fact, what's really interesting is if you think about crypto with cryptocurrencies now, Cryptolepis is one of those herbs that kind of has an otherworldly feel, just the name of it. But it is such a beautiful, traditional, life-giving plant, and all the things that it goes after and helps support the human body are just absolutely miraculous. So I'd love to know what you think about Cryptolepis. And let me say this again: Cryptolepis sanguinolenta. Again, I'll put that below. But if you have experience with this, I'd love to hear. I know that in the last decade, many people have used it for Lyme disease and the co-infections like Bartonella and Babesia in particular. Those are, co-infections that have kind of a bacterial aspect to them. And Cryptolepis has been gaining a lot of notice for this by itself, which I really, really love. And this, to me, if I was going to travel to a place where malaria was a problem, I would probably take a tincture. I would definitely take a tincture that had a couple of other herbs along with Cryptolepis in it. So I'd love to know what you know and what you think about this beautiful plant that comes from Africa, West and Central Africa. This is the beauty of living in the modern world, where we get access to plants that grow everywhere, and it helps us share our cultures, our health. Our health can all improve as we learn about each other's medicines. So thanks for tuning in today, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.